I now choose to see miracles everywhere. My darling, just let that sit in your body for a moment. Not as a slogan, not as something to force yourself to believe, but as a possibility. What if miracles are already here, and I've just been too tired, too worried, too busy to notice? So many of us were taught that a miracle is a huge event. A diagnosis suddenly disappears, the bank account fills overnight, the perfect person arrives at the perfect time with a perfect bow on top. Those things do happen sometimes. But most of the time, miracles are not fireworks in the sky. They are a gentle hand on the steering wheel of your life, turning you half a degree, again and again, towards something kinder. A miracle can be as simple as a meeting being canceled that you secretly didn't have the energy for, and suddenly your body gets the rest it needed. A miracle can be a thought you have repeated for 20 years suddenly feeling a little less convincing. A miracle can be a stranger's kindness on a day when you were sure the world didn't see you at all. I want you to imagine that instead of waiting for a miracle, you are already walking inside one. The problem with waiting for a big, dramatic moment is that you become so focused on the horizon that you miss what is right by your feet. You say, "When something huge happens, then I'll know life is with me." And meanwhile, life is quietly rearranging the pieces around you. The phone call that didn't come, the opportunity that didn't work out, the delay that kept you from being in the wrong place at the wrong time. You label them annoying, boring, nothing special, and you feel abandoned when perhaps you are being protected and redirected. Miracles are not always additions. Many times they are gentle subtractions. Something drops away, a habit, a relationship, a belief, and only later do you see how much lighter you became. One of the most overlooked miracles, my dear, is when your inner heaviness begins to soften without anything on the outside changing yet. Maybe you start sleeping a little better. Maybe you notice that you don't replay that painful conversation in your mind quite as many times. Maybe you still feel afraid, but there is a new, tiny place inside you that says, "I might be okay." These seem so small that the mind dismisses them. That's nothing. Where's my big breakthrough? But from the point of view of your soul, they are enormous. To go from constant self-attack to one moment of self-kindness is a miracle. To go from despair to a thin line of maybe is a miracle. To go from "I'm broken" to "I'm tired, but I am here" is a miracle. The form may be quiet, but the direction is life-changing. So instead of saying, "Nothing is happening," I want you to begin asking, where is it already a little less heavy than before? Maybe you laugh once in a day that used to be all tears. Maybe you catch yourself before saying something cruel to yourself and you choose a softer phrase. Maybe you pause for 5 seconds before reacting, and in those 5 seconds you save a whole evening from becoming a battlefield. These are not accidents. These are signs that the track you are walking on is being gently adjusted. Miracles are the way life puts its arm around your shoulders and turns you just a little toward more peace. Now, let's talk about something very important. You are not just bumping into miracles at random. You are living in a great field of energy, and you are part of that field. You are not a separate little machine walking around inside a dead world. You are a transmitter. You are constantly sending out signals through your posture, your breath, your tone of voice, the way you look at people, the way you talk to yourself. Before you ever receive a sign, you are broadcasting. That doesn't mean you are to blame for everything that happens. That would be a heavy and unkind way to see it. It simply means that you are not passive. You are participating in the dance. Your frequency, as people like to call it, is not some mystical thing you need special crystals to reach. Your frequency is simply your way of being in this moment. The beliefs you are rehearsing, the emotions you are allowing or fighting, the thoughts you repeat, the choices you make. If you walk through the day with shoulders tight, jaw clenched, breathing high and shallow, muttering, "Nothing ever works out for me," that is a broadcast. If you walk through the same day with the same responsibilities, but take small pauses to breathe, to relax your face, to say, "I am doing the best I can, and I am open to being helped," that is a different broadcast. You may not see the results immediately, but life hears you. I want you to know that your energy does not need to be perfect to be powerful. You do not have to be cheerful all the time. You can feel sad and still be on the right path. You can feel confused and still be deeply loved and guided. What matters is not pretending to be high vibe. What matters is being honest and soft with what is really happening. If you are hurting and you say to yourself, "I shouldn't feel this way, I'm ruining my manifestation," you are only adding shame to pain. If instead you say, "I am hurting, and I am willing to be kind to myself in this hurt," your vibration is already lifting, not because you forced yourself to be happy, but because you stopped attacking yourself. Truth plus kindness is one of the highest frequencies we know. There is a very important shift that opens you to miracles, and it has nothing to do with smiling more or pretending nothing is wrong. It is the shift from contraction to opening. When you are contracted, everything in you pulls inward. Your thoughts spiral, your body tightens. You see threats everywhere. The whole world becomes a hallway with no doors. From that state, even a genuine sign can look like danger, because you are sure everything is against you. When you begin to open even a little, your chest softens, your breath drops lower, your gaze lifts. You still see the challenges, but you are also able to notice the small, safe places, the friend who really listens, the moment of silence in your day, the idea that brings a hint of relief. Opening does not mean liking everything. It means being willing to see more than the fear. You know how you can feel it when you walk into a room where two people just had a fight, even if they are smiling now? That is energy. In the same way, you can feel it when you enter a home where someone is quietly, steadily peaceful. The objects may be ordinary, the furniture may be old, but there is a softness in the air, a sense that you can breathe there. One calm person in a family can change the whole emotional temperature of the household over time. That is not romantic fantasy. It is physics and nervous systems. Your inner state radiates outward. So when you practice peace, not perfection, just peace a little more often, you are not only changing your life, you are creating a small field of healing around you. I like to think of each peaceful choice as a tiny miracle that ripples out. You decide not to shout back. The argument dies instead of growing. You choose to rest instead of pushing yourself into a breakdown. Your body thanks you, and you have more presence for the people you love. You notice a sign, a repeating phrase, a helpful coincidence, a door that closes and another that opens, and instead of dismissing it, you say, "Thank you, life. I see that." That gratitude, that acknowledgement sends out yet another signal. I am paying attention. I am willing to be guided. And life, which has always been here, whispers back in its own way, "Good. Here's the next little step." So, my dear, miracles truly are all around you. They are in the softened edge of your anxiety, in the friend who called just when you needed to hear a gentle voice, in the job you didn't get that would have drained you, in the new thought that appears after years of self-criticism. You are not waiting for a single moment that fixes everything. You are walking through a living, responsive universe that is constantly adjusting, nudging, comforting, and rerouting you. As you become more aware of the signals you send, and as you relax a little more into honesty and kindness with yourself, you will find that the signs of support become easier to recognize. For now, you might simply place a hand on your heart and whisper, "I am willing to see the miracles that are already here." That willingness is enough to begin. You don't have to force your eyes open. You can just soften them. You don't have to demand a show. You can let life speak in its gentle language of small shifts and quiet mercies. And as you do, you will discover that you have never, ever been alone on this road. Now, my darling, I want to show you something very simple and very powerful. The way you do one small thing is often the way you do everything. You might think, "Oh, Louise, that can't be true. I'm only rushing when I wash the dishes." But if we look gently, with curiosity instead of criticism, we begin to see patterns. Perhaps you find yourself clattering the plates, annoyed that you have to do it at all, running through a list of shoulds in your mind. "I should have done this earlier. I shouldn't be the one doing this. I'm always behind." Notice the ingredients there: hurry, resentment, self-attack. Those same ingredients may be showing up when you handle your work, your money, your relationships, and even your dreams. Not because you are bad, but because that is the program you have been running. Life is holographic in that way. A tiny piece often contains the code for the whole picture. When you learn to wash one plate with a little more presence and kindness, you are not just washing a plate, you are rehearsing a new way of being with yourself in every area of life. Think for a moment about your family or the people you are closest to. How do you speak to them when you are tired, when you are disappointed, when you are scared? Do you snap, shut down, withdraw, overplease, or become sharp and defensive? Very often, my dear, the tone you use with them is the tone you are using with yourself on the inside. If you bark, "Why are you always like this?" at someone you love, it is quite possible that you bark the same thing at yourself in your head. If you swallow your feelings, saying, "It's fine, it doesn't matter," while your heart is aching, there is a good chance you are also ignoring your own needs when you look in the mirror. The home is one of the clearest mirrors of your inner world. We don't say this to condemn you. We say it so that you can see. If you soften your way of speaking in one small conversation at the dinner table, you are already softening the way you speak to yourself in the quiet hours of the night. The same principle shows up in how you relate to the world out there. When you read the news, scroll through social media, or listen to the voices of the crowd, do you feel your heart tighten and your breath become shallow? Do you get swept into fear, outrage, comparison, and hopelessness within minutes? Or can you stay with your own heart even while you look? The outer noise is like a test of your inner frequency. If you immediately dissolve into the panic of the world, it is a sign that some part of you believes, I am unprotected, I am alone, I am powerless. If, instead, you can say, yes, there is pain here, and I can still keep my heart open and rooted in love, you are living from a different code. That is the holographic principle again. How you respond to one headline often reveals how you respond to your own internal storms. Now, here is the beautiful part. Because one small moment carries the pattern of the whole, changing one small moment begins to change the whole. You don't have to rebuild your life overnight. You can start with the washing of a single cup. The next time you are at the sink, instead of rushing and scolding yourself, take a breath. Feel the warmth of the water on your hands. Say quietly, I am here, and this is enough for now. You have just written a new line of code into your life. When you speak to a family member and your old impulse is to bite, you can notice it, pause, and choose a different tone. This is important to me, and I want us to talk about it kindly. Again, a new line of code. When you read something upsetting online, instead of spiraling, you might put a hand on your heart and say, there is pain in the world, and I will start with gentleness here, in me. Another line of code. Every tiny act of love is a seed. Every seed contains the whole tree. Underneath all of these little patterns, there are usually a few big core beliefs running the show. One of the most common is, I am not enough. When this belief is sitting like a program in your subconscious, it leaks into everything. It leaks into money. I have to prove myself. I don't deserve ease. I must work to exhaustion to be okay. It leaks into relationships. I must earn love. I must accept poor treatment because I am lucky anyone wants me at all. It leaks into your body. I must punish myself. I must push. I must control every bite. And it leaks into your spiritual life. If something goes wrong, it's because I haven't been good enough. Can you see how one sentence in the basement of your mind can color an entire life? This is why healing one core belief can feel like a miracle across many areas. When you begin gently, consistently, to replace I am not enough with I am willing to see that I am already worthy, you are not just changing a thought, you are changing a vibration. You might start by catching yourself in one simple moment. You make a small mistake, and the old voice says, you see, you're hopeless. Right there, you pause and choose a different response. No, darling, I am learning. I made a mistake, and I am still worthy. That is not just positive thinking. That is editing the code. Over time, this new truth seeps into your relationship with money, with health, with love. You stop accepting scraps. You stop punishing your body. You stop chasing people who don't see you. You become, little by little, a person who knows they belong. And the universe, which has always been listening, begins to mirror that back with different opportunities, different people, and a different sense of inner peace. So you see, my dear, you don't need to fix 10,000 separate problems out there. You can begin by tending one small pattern in here. The way you close your day, the way you greet yourself in the mirror, the way you speak at the sink, the way you breathe before answering a message, all of these are tiny holograms of your whole life. Change the way you hold one of them, and the resonance ripples outward. When you heal even one corner of your mind, you bring light to the whole room. Now, I want to talk to you about something that many people misunderstand: prayer. Many of us were taught that prayer is begging. We imagine a big, distant power in the sky, keeping score, deciding whether we have been good enough to deserve what we ask for. So we plead, "Please, please, fix this. Please make them love me. Please make me different." And often, when things don't immediately change in the way we expect, we decide that prayer doesn't work or that we are unworthy. I don't find that helpful at all. To me, prayer is not about convincing life to care. Life already cares. Prayer is about aligning ourselves with the truth that is already here. Prayer is simply you having an honest conversation with the power that created you. You don't have to use fancy words. In fact, I prefer that you don't. Prayer can sound like this: "I'm scared. I don't know what to do. I feel lost and small. Please help me." That is a prayer. You might say, "I am so tired, life. I have been trying to do everything alone, and I can't. I need guidance. I need rest. Show me the next gentle step." That is a prayer. You might whisper through tears, "I don't even know if anyone is listening, but I'm going to talk anyway, because I don't want to carry this by myself." That is a prayer. When you are real like that, you are no longer performing. You are opening. I like to think of deep prayer in 3 soft layers. The first layer is acknowledgement. This is where I am. You might say, "Right now, my heart is closed. I am angry. I am jealous. I am terrified. I am numb." You are not pretending to be spiritual. You are telling the truth. Truth is always a doorway. The second layer is choosing again. I am willing to move in a different direction. You don't have to know how. You just say, "I am willing to soften. I am willing to be guided. I am willing to see this situation in a new light." Willingness is a bridge between the old state and the new. The third layer is trust. I don't have to run the whole universe. I can let myself be led. You might say, "I do my part and I let life do the rest." In that moment, the burden on your shoulders lightens because you are no longer trying to be the only one in charge. You see, my darling, prayer does not make you weak. It puts you back in right relationship with your own life. When you try to carry everything alone, you live in constant strain, as if you were the only one holding up the sky. When you pray honestly, you admit, "I am not the sky holder. I am a loved part of something vast. You are still responsible for your choices, of course, but you are no longer trying to be the only source of wisdom, the only source of strength. You open to partnership with life, with love, with that deep, quiet intelligence that makes your heart beat and your lungs rise and fall without your supervision. You didn't have to remember to grow your own fingernails. Something has always been helping you, and very often you will notice that a good prayer doesn't end with you staying exactly where you are. After the tears, after the words, there is usually a small, clear impulse. Send that message, apologize, drink some water, lie down and sleep, go for a short walk, write down your feelings, ask for help, put the phone away. The mind wants something dramatic, thunder, lightning, trumpets from the heavens. But the language of guidance is often very simple. It might say, enough scrolling, go outside. It might say, call that friend. It might say, eat something nourishing. These tiny actions are not separate from the prayer. They are the answer starting to come through your own body. So when you pray, don't only look up, also look within and around. You have asked to be guided. Now ask yourself, what is one small thing I can do right now that feels a little more loving to me and to this situation? Then do that and consider it sacred. Washing your face can be part of the miracle. Turning off the light and allowing yourself to rest can be part of the miracle. Putting down an old argument can be part of the miracle. Life loves to move through open doors, and your smallest loving action is a door. If you like, we can try a very simple prayer together. You might close your eyes, place a hand on your heart, and say quietly, "Life, I am here. This is how I feel." Then you breathe. Then you say, "I am willing to be shown a kinder way." Breathe again. Finally, you say, "Please guide my next step. I don't need the whole map, just the next step." And then you go about your day listening, not obsessively, not anxiously, but with a gentle curiosity. What feels a little more peaceful? What feels a little more true? That is how you walk with prayer, not as a desperate demand, but as an ongoing relationship. My dear, miracles and prayer are not separate subjects. When you begin to see the tiny places where your patterns show up, and you bring them into your conversation with life, you are already participating in your own miracle. You notice the way you rush, and you pray for patience. You notice the way you attack yourself, and you pray for a softer voice. You notice the way you contract at the news, and you pray for a heart that can stay open without collapsing. Then you take one small action in the direction of that prayer over and over. That is alignment. That is how the hologram of your life begins to change. Not from the outside in, but from the inside out. Remember, you are not asking a reluctant universe to do you a favor. You are allowing a loving universe to work with you. Life is always on your side, even when you don't yet understand how. You are learning to see the code in the little things, to speak honestly in your prayers, and to let your next small step become an open doorway for grace. And that, my darling, is a very beautiful way to live. You know, If miracles really wore flashing neon signs, most of us would probably complain that the light was hurting our eyes. We say, "Show me a sign, universe, anything." And then when life actually whispers, we're too busy scrolling, worrying, or checking the clock to notice. So let's talk about signs in a much softer, kinder way, not as something you have to chase or decode obsessively, but as something you learn to notice, the way you notice a warm breeze on your skin. You don't run after the breeze. You simply pause long enough to feel it. Many people come to me and say, "Louise, I keep asking for signs, but I don't see anything. Maybe nothing is happening." And usually, when we look together, we discover that things are happening. They're just not happening in the dramatic, movie-style way they expected. A true sign from life doesn't usually make you more frantic. It makes you feel a little more steady, a little more reassured inside, even if the outer situation hasn't finished changing yet. If what you call a sign leaves you more anxious, more desperate, more tight in your chest, then it may not be guidance. It may just be your fear wearing a costume. There are a few very gentle ways that life likes to get our attention, and they are often beautifully ordinary. One way is through repetition. You keep seeing the same number, you hear the same phrase from 3 different people, the same theme shows up in a book, in a conversation, and in a random video, all in 1 week. It's like life is underlining a word in the sentence of your day. Look here, darling. This part matters. The repetition is not there to spook you. It's there to tap you lightly on the shoulder. Another way signs appear is through timing. You're thinking, "I really need some reassurance about this decision," and a song lyric, or a line in a book, or a stranger at the coffee shop says something that lands in you like a deep exhale. You might overhear someone say, "You know, it's okay to start small," right after you asked in your heart, "Is it too late for me?" You could dismiss it as coincidence, of course, but you could also let it be a quiet reminder that you are not walking through this life alone. And then there are the right people at the right time. You meet someone who opens a door, a new job, a new perspective, a new friendship, a new way of seeing yourself. Maybe you've been afraid to leave a situation that doesn't honor you, and you suddenly encounter someone who has walked that path and is living proof that there is life on the other side. Very often, life sends people as signs, a conversation, a shared story, a kind glance can be part of your guidance system. Now, here is where so many beautiful souls get tangled. They begin to treat signs like a rigid exam or a superstition. If I see this number 3 times, it means I should stay. If I don't see it, it means I should go. If the traffic light turns green right away, that means yes. If it doesn't, that means no. Suddenly, their whole nervous system is held hostage by whether a feather appears on the sidewalk. That is not guidance. That is anxiety trying to find something to cling to. When you use signs as a way to avoid feeling, avoid choosing, or avoid listening to your own inner truth, you stop being free and start being frightened again. I don't want you to live like that. Signs are not there to control you or to punish you. They are there to support you. If you notice yourself checking, refreshing the cosmic inbox, Every 5 minutes, take a breath. Put your hand on your heart. Say, I am allowed to rest my mind. I don't have to squeeze answers out of life. The more frantic you are, the harder it is to see clearly. When you soften, your perception widens, and you can tell the difference between a gentle nudge and a fearful obsession. So how do you begin to work with signs in a healthy way? One of the simplest skills you can learn is the art of the soft question. You don't interrogate the universe, you invite cooperation. You might say, quietly inside, show me the next small, kind step, or what is the smallest action I can take today that honors me? Then you stop. You let that question float. You don't immediately grab your phone or distract yourself. You create just a tiny bit of space, maybe 3 breaths, maybe a short walk, maybe a few minutes with your eyes closed. In that small space, you begin to notice what feels a little lighter, a little truer. Perhaps the thought comes, send that email. Perhaps you feel drawn to look at a particular opportunity again. Perhaps you realize that the next step is not an external move at all, but taking a nap or telling someone how you really feel. Guidance is often very modest. It doesn't usually shout, move cities now. It whispers, clean your desk, make that phone call, drink some water. I like to say that signs are rarely about winning the lottery. They are more often about gently adjusting your direction by a few degrees, again and again, until you find yourself on a path that feels like home. If you're tempted to demand a big, dramatic confirmation, if this is meant for me, I want a huge miracle by Friday, smile at yourself a little. That is the frightened child in you, wanting reassurance in the loudest possible form. You can hold that child kindly and still choose a different way. You can say, sweetheart, I know you want fireworks, but today we are going to trust the small lamps along the path. You can trade hunting for quiet observation. Looking for signs becomes less like scanning the sky for omens and more like paying attention to when your shoulders relax, when your breath deepens, when your heart feels quietly clear. Now, there is another part of the miracle equation that many people skip, and that is receiving. You could ask for guidance, you could see the signs, but if you don't allow anything good to actually land in your life, you will forever feel like miracles are for other people. So let's talk about that very tender subject, letting things in. Have you noticed how many of us are experts at deflecting good? Someone says, "You look lovely today," and we immediately reply, "Oh no, it's just the lighting," or "this old thing." A friend offers help and we say, no, I'm fine," while we're falling apart inside. An opportunity appears and we say, "I'm not ready. I'm not qualified. Maybe next year." We pray for support, for kindness, for abundance, and then when it arrives, we push it away because accepting feels unfamiliar or unsafe. It's like standing in the rain, complaining about being thirsty, while holding an umbrella over your own cup. Very often, this pattern began when we were young. Perhaps you learned that receiving was dangerous, that if you took too much space, too much attention, too much care, somebody would be angry or withdraw their love. Perhaps you learned that saying yes to a gift meant you now owed something in return, that you were now in debt. Maybe you were praised for giving, giving, and quietly shamed whenever you had needs of your own. So now the adult you is still living by those old rules. If I receive, I am selfish. If I rest, I am lazy. If I say yes to help, I am weak. I want to offer you a very different perspective. Receiving is not a crime. It is part of the circulation of life. When someone genuinely offers you a compliment, or a kindness, or a helping hand, and you bat it away, you are not being humble. You are interrupting the flow. Imagine giving a present to a friend and having them say, "Oh, no, I can't accept that. It's too much. I don't deserve it." How does that feel? It doesn't feel noble, does it? It feels a bit like rejection. The same is true when life tries to give to you. When you allow yourself to receive, you are honoring the giver as well as yourself. Receiving does not mean that you now owe your soul in return. Healthy receiving sounds like this: "Thank you so much. I appreciate this, and I accept it. Nothing more." You don't have to immediately repay. You don't have to minimize it. You let the goodness touch you. You let your nervous system have the experience. It is safe for me to be supported. It is safe for me to be seen in a positive light. That experience, repeated, begins to change your frequency faster than you might imagine. You can practice this in very small ways. The next time someone says something kind about you, instead of arguing, just pause and take one extra breath. Let the words land in your body. You might even say silently, "I let this in." Out loud, you simply say, "Thank you." Notice what happens inside. Perhaps a little shame rises up, or an urge to joke it away. That's all right. You're just meeting the old program. You don't have to obey it. When someone offers a practical bit of help, carrying something heavy, watching the children for a short time, listening to your worries, see if you can say yes once in a while. You are not being a burden. You are allowing another person the joy of giving. Think of all the times you have wanted to help someone you love. Did you want them to fight you off? Or did you feel warm when they allowed you to care? It is the same in reverse. Letting yourself be helped is an act of connection. Receiving also applies to opportunities. So many times, people tell me, "I asked for a new direction, but nothing is happening." And then, a little later, I discover that they were offered a course, or a job, or a chance to share their gift, and they said no because they didn't feel 100% ready. My dear, almost no one feels 100% ready for anything worthwhile. There is always a bit of trembling at the edge of expansion. If you wait until you feel completely confident before you say yes to your own life, you may wait forever. Sometimes the sign is the door opening, and your part of the miracle is to walk through while your hands are still a little shaky. Of course, receiving wisely also means having boundaries. You are not asked to accept everything that comes your way. You are invited to accept what resonates as true and kind and right for you. You can feel the difference. When something is truly for you, there is usually a sense of relief, even if it stretches you. "Oh, this makes sense. This feels alive." When something is not for you, your body often tightens in a different way. Confusion, dread, a deep inner no. Receiving does not mean abandoning that knowing. It means trusting it. It means saying yes where there is a quiet yes and no where there is a clear no, without apologizing for either. I would love you to think of receiving as a grown-up skill, not a childish grab, I must have everything, but a mature openness. I am willing to let good things come to me, and I am willing to take responsibility for what I do with them. You don't need to prove how hard your life has been in order to qualify. You don't need to earn the right to breathe easily. You are inherently worthy of love, care, and support simply because you exist. Let's try a little experiment together right now. Sit comfortably if you can. Relax your hands. Notice if you are clenching your jaw or holding your breath. For just a moment, imagine that life is standing in front of you, offering you something you deeply need, perhaps rest, perhaps understanding, perhaps a new beginning. See it being held out to you gently. And now notice your first inner response. Do you think, oh no, not for me? Do you reach and then pull back? Or can you, even a little bit, imagine your hands softening open? If it feels very strange to receive, you can start with these words. I am willing to learn how to let good things in. You don't have to leap straight to, I receive everything easily. You can begin with willingness. That willingness is like cracking open a window in a stuffy room. Fresh air doesn't need you to drag it in. It will do what it does if you stop sealing everything shut. So, my darling, we have been talking about signs and receiving, and really they are two sides of the same miracle. Signs are life's way of brushing against your awareness. I am here. I am with you. This way. Receiving is your way of saying back, I see you. I hear you. I allow this. When you stop hunting desperately for proof and start watching gently for guidance, you become calmer. When you stop rejecting every kind word, every helping hand, every open door, you begin to experience yourself as someone life can easily bless. You don't need to solve the entire puzzle today. You don't need to interpret every number or feather. You don't need to say yes to everything that knocks. You can simply practice this. Ask for the next small step, listen quietly, and when something kind comes, let yourself say thank you and mean it. Little by little, that is how miracles move from being out there to being the way you actually live. Before we move on, I want you to feel this with me. Trusting life is not sitting on the couch, folding your arms, and saying, well, if it's meant to be, it will come find me. Trusting life is lacing up your shoes, taking the step that is right in front of you, and choosing not to terrify yourself about the steps you cannot see yet. You do not have to see the whole map to begin the journey. In fact, you cannot see the whole map from where you stand, and that is not a flaw. It is part of the design. There is a larger wisdom that sees around the corners, sees the other people involved, sees the pieces that are still moving on the board. Life is much wiser than your fear, and it knows how to rearrange things for your good in ways your mind could never plan. When you hear people talk about divine timing, I don't want you to imagine a big clock in the sky that is trying to annoy you. Very often, that timing is the space in which you grow into the person who can hold what you have asked for. If everything you ever wanted dropped into your lap this second, without the inner strength, boundaries, and self-love to hold it, it might crush you instead of bless you. So when a door closes, instead of immediately saying, "See, this proves I'm not good enough," you might whisper, "What is life protecting me from? What part of me is still being strengthened?" That question alone can turn a no into a softer kind of miracle. One of the most important skills you can ever learn is to tell the difference between fear and intuition. Fear is loud, urgent, and bossy. It says, "Hurry, do something now or everything will fall apart." It tightens your chest, makes your breath shallow, makes your thoughts race. It wants control at all costs. Intuition, on the other hand, feels quieter, clearer, simpler. It is not always comfortable, but it is never hysterical. Intuition is the quiet, this way in your belly, the gentle knowing that a certain relationship is complete, or that it's time to say yes to something new, or that you can wait a little longer. Fear piles on reasons and stories and catastrophes. Intuition often presents as a single, clean sentence. "This isn't for you. It's time to go. Give it space." You can practice listening by asking yourself, when you feel pulled in two directions, is this voice trying to protect me by panicking, or is it guiding me by simplifying? Intuition makes things feel more honest and more spacious, even if they are still scary. Fear makes things feel more cramped, frantic, and small. You may not get this perfectly every time, and that's all right. You learn it the way you learn anything, by paying attention, by noticing how you feel after you follow one voice or the other. Let's try a tiny experiment together. Think of a situation right now where you are unsure. Let it come to mind gently. We don't have to dig. Now, imagine asking two voices the same question. What should I do? Hear the fearful voice first. Notice its tone, its speed, how many terrible possibilities it throws at you. Notice what happens in your body when you listen to it. Then take a slow breath. Soften your jaw. Let your shoulders drop just a little. Now ask again, inside, what is the next small, kind step? And see if there is a quieter answer somewhere under the noise. It might say, rest. It might say, ask for help. It might say, do the next obvious thing. It won't give you all 50 steps, only the one in front of you. Trusting life means you honor that one step, and you stop torturing yourself for not knowing the rest. You keep walking, but you refuse to walk with a whip in your hand. Now let's talk about where all of this really starts. The beliefs that live at the root of your consciousness. You are not just reacting to events. You are seeing them through a lens, a filter, a pair of invisible glasses built out of what you learned long ago. Two people can go through the same experience and tell completely different stories about it. One says, "This is punishment. Life is against me." The other says, "This is painful, but I know there is something here for me to learn or release." The event is the same, the meaning is different. And the meaning is coming from the deepest beliefs you carry about yourself and about life. If you believe that life hates you, you will interpret every delay, every mistake, every closed door as proof you are cursed. If you believe that life loves you, you can begin to see even your detours as part of the way. There are a few core beliefs that block more miracles than almost anything else. One is, I am not good enough. Another is, I have to do everything alone. And a very sneaky one is, if I let myself be happy, something bad will happen. Imagine trying to receive guidance, kindness, and support while those three programs are running in the background. I am not good enough will make you push away opportunities that match your true worth. Even when life sends them, you will say, no, I can't, not me. I have to do everything alone. Will make you refuse help, refuse rest, refuse joy, and then resent everyone for not rescuing you from the burden you keep insisting on carrying. If I am happy, something bad will happen. Will make you sabotage your own joy the moment it starts to rise, because you're waiting for the other shoe to drop. These are not bad beliefs. They are just old survival strategies that have outlived their usefulness. They probably kept you safe once, in a household or a culture where you had to be small to avoid trouble. But you are not that powerless child anymore. Today, you are allowed to choose beliefs that fit the life you want to live now, not the life you had to survive then. Healing these beliefs does not always require years of digging and analyzing every memory, although sometimes exploring the past can be helpful. Often, the most powerful change begins with how you treat yourself today in this very simple, very ordinary moment. When the old belief whispers, you're not good enough, and you choose to speak to yourself with kindness instead of cruelty, you are not just having a nicer thought, you are recoding the entire pattern. When the old belief says, you must handle this alone, and you dare to reach out to a friend or a therapist or to life itself in prayer, you are sending out a new signal. I am allowed to be supported. When the old belief hums, don't get too happy, it's dangerous, and you let yourself enjoy your cup of tea, your child's laughter, your quiet moment of rest without immediately scanning the horizon for disaster. You are telling your nervous system, joy is not a trap. Joy can be safe. Think of your life like a hologram. If you like, every small part contains the pattern of the whole. When you choose a single moment of self-soothing instead of self-attack, you are not just soothing that one moment, you are touching the pattern everywhere. Sitting on the edge of your bed, putting a gentle hand on your chest, and saying, I know you're scared, and I am not going to abandon you this time, may not look dramatic from the outside, but inside, it can be a profound reset. One tiny act of tenderness toward yourself can send ripples through your entire experience in ways your mind cannot measure. Over and over, miracle stories start with something that looked small. The day someone decided to finally rest, to finally say no, to finally tell themselves the truth. From the outside, nothing seemed to change. Inside, everything did. This is where affirmations become such a beautiful tool. They are not magic spells to bully the universe into giving you what you want. Affirmations are ways of teaching your body and your nervous system that it is safe to live in a new state. If you stand in front of the mirror and shout, I am wildly successful and fabulously happy, while every cell in your body screams, no, we are not, we are terrified, then you are not healing. You are arguing with yourself. A good affirmation meets you where you are and opens a door instead of slamming a fantasy on your head. It might sound like, I am willing to believe I can feel a little safer today, or I am learning to trust that life can support me, or it is becoming easier for me to let good things in. These are bridges, not walls. They say, we are moving in this direction without pretending you are already there. You can think of affirmations in 3 gentle stages. The first is safety. I am safe in life. If that feels too big, try. I am beginning to feel a little safer in my world. The second is support. Life is on my side, or something greater than me is helping me grow. Again, if that feels too far away, I am open to the idea that I am not alone in this. The third is receiving. I allow good to come to me, or I am learning to receive with grace. When you say these words slowly, kindly, perhaps with a hand on your heart, you are not trying to impress anyone. You are whispering new instructions into the soil of your being. You repeat them, not to convince life, but to reassure the scared parts of you that it is safe to live differently now. Affirmations are simply thoughts you choose on purpose, over and over, until your inner world realizes, oh, this is how we live now. You don't have to do this for hours a day. A few sincere moments, repeated often, can create more change than a long, forced session you secretly resent. As you move through your day, when old programming surfaces, I'm not enough, I'm all alone, if I enjoy this, it will be taken away, you can pause and softly offer a new line. I am enough for this moment. I can ask for help. I am allowed to feel good without expecting punishment. Over time, those new sentences start to shape a new hologram, a new pattern in the way you stand, breathe, choose, and relate. Life responds to that. Before we finish, I want to remind you of something very precious. The greatest miracle is not that you suddenly get everything you ever asked for. The greatest miracle is the person you become as you learn to live in trust, in gentleness, in partnership with life. You begin this journey often feeling tense, defensive, desperate to prove yourself, desperate to be chosen by others. And gradually, as you soften your beliefs, as you listen to intuition instead of fear, as you allow signs to comfort you instead of control you, something subtle changes. You find that you are forcing less, punishing yourself less, explaining yourself less. You are no longer spending so much energy trying to impress people who don't even see your heart. You are beginning to live as someone who is already loved. That is the real sign that miracles are working in you. You stop needing everything outside of you to be perfect before you let yourself rest inside. You still have goals, dreams, responsibilities, of course. But underneath, there is more space. You can say, I made a mistake, without turning it into, I am a mistake. You can say, I'm afraid, without abandoning yourself. You can say, I don't know what will happen, and still go to bed with a calmer breath. When you become a place of peace inside, life can meet you there much more easily. People feel it. The right ones are drawn to it. Circumstances adjust around it. Doors that used to be invisible begin to appear. So, my dear, as you listen to these words, I invite you to let this be more than just another nice idea. Let it be a little turning point. You don't have to fix your entire life tonight, but you can decide, I am willing to stop treating myself like the enemy. I am willing to believe that life is not out to get me. I am willing to let miracles be simple and quiet and close. You can decide that when the old fear comes, you will remember to breathe. When an old belief tries to drag you backwards, you will offer yourself one kinder thought. When a good thing comes, you will practice saying, "Thank you, I receive." Bit by bit, this is how you become the kind of person around whom miracles feel at home. Life loves you. Life has always loved you. You are learning day by day to love you too. And as you become gentler with yourself, you will find, almost without trying, that life feels gentler with you. When you trust, life has a way of finding a path. When you open, even just a little, life has a way of stepping in.